American history in 30 seconds. 1971, U.S. closes the gold window. We enter a period of pure fiat money. Then we have Reagan deregulating in the 80s to make sure that the people who control the fiat money can engage in cantillon effect and gap the wealth and income spread to unheard of levels. Then we have Michael Saylor within the last 24 months announced that the central banks are out of control, and he and his fellow CEOs are going to launch a speculative attack against the central banks by borrowing at the 0% and buying Bitcoin. Flash forward to next year, US dollars collapse 50%. Bitcoin holders now rule the world, and Jay Powell is working for Coinbase.
I get it. Well, you know, the data that they show is pretty remarkable. Just look at the chart. That's all you need to see, really. It's called wealth disparity blows out, according to the Fed, their own data. Total wealth by wealth category in trillions. So the top 10% own $85.6 trillion in wealth. The next 50 to 90 percentile own 34.8 trillion. And the bottom 50% own 2.5 trillion. But you can really see in that top line, the top 10%, most of it, over half of it is actually in the top 1%. But you see that anytime, that's the 2008 dip, anytime it dips, the Fed, that's what the Fed seems to be responding to, is anytime their wealth even slightly declines and closes that gap a little bit, well, the Fed goes berserk and starts money printing, and that is the Cantillon effect.
All right, let me just explain. The left side of the political equation has to offset the money printing something called minimum wage. These two things go counter to each other. When the Fed raises the money supply, as they've done by hundreds of percentage points, minimum wage should rise. If minimum wage were keeping up, let's say, with gold over the past 50 years, minimum wage in America right now would be $50 an hour. $50 an hour is the correct hourly wage to keep up with what the Fed is doing. Remarkably, when these Democrats got into office, so they own all three branches of government, and they had raised the minimum wage on their number one agenda item, they totally puked. They totally choked. And instead, they did typical Democratic thing. They decided, like, you know what, we're actually more interested in being conservative, money-grubbing GOPers. So that's what we're going to do. And they're really doing a great job. AOC is the new Ronald Reagan. Thank you, AOC.